It's on record, it's recording. I just need you to keep me in shot. Like, follow me. About a year ago, I spent 4 days in Marseille. Well, actually more like 4 days in the south of France. Marseille is a beautiful place. Even in the wintertime, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, and the French men were hitting on me like no tomorrow. Mum had promised me to take me to the place where she had done her exchange almost 30 years ago, and off we went. We went in the early January of 2020, before any of the pandemic mess came about, in the middle of the off-season. We persevered without tours or guides and made our way around the south of France. Starting in Marseille, the southern capital, we hopped on a bus tour to see the city. Bus tours are, yes, extremely touristy, but if you only have a limited time to see the city, they are a great way to get to know the history and the culture of a place in a short amount of time. And if you hop on a double decker, the views from the top can be well worth the 20 euros that you spent on a ticket. Since ancient times, Marseille had been used as a trading port, and the old port still lies at the centre of the city, from which the rest of the city unravels across the coast and the hills. Our next day saw us take the train from Marseille to Cassis and Aix-En-Provence. Again, as it was off-season, the second we stepped off the train in Cassis, there was not a taxi in sight. We walked about 3 kilometres down the hills and past the vineyards before eventually making it to the marina. But by far the best part of the trip was when Mum and I both sat, each with a massive café au lait and pain au chocolat, warming ourselves from the frigid cold next to the locals while we watched the weather roll in over the marina. We sat too long at the cafe and we missed our train, and now we're sitting in the cold and we have to wait for an hour for our next train. Eventually, we made our way back to the train station and moved on to Aix-En-Provence. Landing on a train to Aix. In Aix, we found lunch, little French laneways, and a fountain that supposedly was decorated with dolphins. But I will let you decide on how they actually look. Aix is actually known as the city of 1,000 fountains, but this fountain with the 4 dolphins is the most widely known. The city is beautiful and looks exactly how you would expect a French city to look, and we spent quite a lot of time just wandering around admiring the architecture. Our final day before flying back to Stuttgart was spent in Avignon. The first stop on our list was the Palais des Papes, which was once both a fortress and a palace. Avignon was the seat of the papacy for Western Christianity during the 14th century, but today it's mainly a tourist attraction, bringing in guests from around the world for both its history and its architecture. Not far away from the Palais des Papes is the Pont du Gard, a Roman aqueduct built sometime in the 1st century CE. The aqueduct carried water across the River Gard to the town of Nîmes, over 50 kilometres away, which, coincidentally, is where denim originated from. Der Nîmes means of Nîmes. This meant that the Roman settlement in Nîmes had running water, which absolutely blows my mind. It's windy and cold. In the summer, there are markets along the waterline, but as we were visiting in the off-season, we had the place mostly to ourselves. And that's really all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.